Hello everyone, welcome back to another sticker analysis video. Today is going to be a little bit of a shorter one. We're going to be covering the Sugarface 2 stickers, which were recently added to the Armory back in October. And while this is a very unpopular collection, and the data that you might get from this video, specifically regarding investing into these specific stickers, may not be super useful, I do think that there are some conclusions that can be drawn between this collection and the 2025 Community Collection, also from the Armory. We have a unique instance where both of these collections were added to the Armory at the same time, so by comparing their application demand, we can kind of get a rough estimate for how their demands compare. If you still, like myself, believe that Valve likes to remove very unpopular collections before removing very popular and profitable collections for themselves, then this might be one to keep an eye on. I will say I have a small position in this sticker collection, but nothing too serious, like literally like 40 bucks. And while there might be some data that can be seen here, everything is pretty status quo. So yeah, without further ado, we're just going to go through these stickers. And for any newcomers, what we'll be covering in this video is each sticker's total applications, its average price over the last 3 days. This information was collected on December 6th. We'll also be taking a look at any differences between the application and price of each sticker. We'll also be looking at the average applications per weapon, a little magic ratio, which is really just the applications of the weapon divided by the price and then adjusted for rarity. So a smaller number is quote-unquote a better bang for your buck, but it's a pretty flawed metric and it favors very cheap stickers. And then also a new stat that I am going to add is the unapplied based on bottom line. This metric just shows the difference between the amount that are applied and provably unapplied, which I typically calculate at the end of the video. We'll also be covering the total applications of the entire collection, how those calculations stack up to its projected bottom line based on the most supplied and applied sticker. And then, like I said, we'll be covering the relationship between this collection and the 2025 Community Armory sticker collection. So we're going to go ahead and get into the individual sticker information. Thank you guys so much for continuing to watch and support the channel. I really appreciate it. Your time is valuable, so let's go ahead and get into the statistics. First, we'll be covering our paper category, and with the Sugarface collection, there are only 3 stickers that are identical in each rarity. So this will go pretty quickly. The first paper is the Lucas paper, coming in at 3rd. As you can see, dead last in all of our 5 through 1Xs. It is also the lowest average application per weapon at a very poor 1.15. That's pretty poor for a blue. As you'll see, most of these stickers are just 1X stickers. A -1 difference because it is tied for the second most expensive sticker at 6 cents, and it is least applied at 6,700 applications. Also notably, it's U-Bobble, as we'll be calling it, the unapplied based on bottom line projection. There are, according to my bottom line estimates, 21,109 provable Lucas papers that exist that have not been applied, which is about 75% of the total trackable supply. Next up is the Clavis paper. As you can see, it's second in all of our 2 through 5Xs, but actually it is the single most 1X applied paper from this collection. Likewise, it's second in everything else. It has a 1.21 average applications per weapon, which is decent, a magic ratio of 0.653, no difference in its price and application rank, a U-Bobble of 18,682, or about 67% of the total supply, and about 9,200 applications, so pretty cool. And coming in at number 1 in our paper category is the Lorena paper. As you can see, it actually has much better multiple applications through the 2X and 5X applications, less 1Xs than the Clavis paper, which is interesting. But this sticker looks a lot more healthy on paper at an average application per weapon at 1.4, magic ratio at 0.83 just because it is the most expensive at 8 cents, but not a big difference. It's also the most applied at 9,600, a couple more hundred than the Clavis paper. And its U-Bobble is 18,241, or about 65.44% of the total estimated bottom line supply. Moving into the purples, spoiler alert, it's going to be Lucas every time. Lucas is our least applied holo. It's across the board the least applied. It has a very piddly 1.08 average applications per weapon, so not a very multiply applied sticker. Magic ratio of a much higher 11.54, so these stickers might be a little overvalued / underapplied, probably just leaning on the underapplied. No difference between its price and application rank, both at 3rd at 74 cents and about 1,300 applications. And its U-Bobble says that there's about 4,300 provably unapplied that can exist, which is about 77% of the total estimated bottom line supply. But again, guys, remember that this is an estimated bottom line provable. It's probably a lot more than this, if not a factor of like 2 or 3. So Alright, and up next is the Lorena Holo. This is actually interesting because the Lorena Holo was the #1 paper, but she's actually the #2 Holo. #2 throughout the entire application chart, average applications of a very weak 1.12, magic ratio of a 14.581. Price is second place at $1.20 and applications at about 1,650. The U-Bobble says that there's about 4,000 unapplied Lorena Holos that can exist, which is about 70% of our total estimated bottom line supply. And coming in at #1 in our purple category is the Clavis Holo, although there is not that big of a gap between Clavis and Lorena Holos, unlike our papers between Lorena and Clavis papers. So yeah, he is first place in all of our categories. He has a first place 1.16 average applications per weapon, which is falling underneath my red threshold of not very good. Magic ratio of 13.444. No difference between its application and price. Its price is at $1.22 and applications at just over 1,800. And the U-Bobble estimation says that there's about 3,700 Clavis Holos that are unapplied that provably exist based on provable bottom line projections. Alright, and things get really bleak as we move into our foil category. Lucas Foil, third again. Not even any 5Xs. This is very not applied sticker. It has a 1.06 average application per weapon, very bad. Magic ratio of 25.185. And it's third in both our applications at 189 with less than 200 applications. And its average price is $1.19, which, if you were paying attention, is actually cheaper than 2 of our Holos. So yeah, Lucas Foil, not very popular sticker. The U-Bobble says that there are 926 provable, unapplied Lucas Foils that exist based on bottom line projections, which does not look very good for the Lucas Foil considering it's been a few months and only 200 have been applied. So that's kind of what this data shows, that these are not very popular stickers. The Bloodbath continues with the Lorena Foil. The only one that's any interest is that it actually has a few more 4Xs than the Clavis Foil, which we'll talk about in a second. It is actually first in our average applications per weapon for the foil category at 1.21, decent, and it's just because it has a couple more 4Xs. Magic ratio of 71.299, very high because this is a probably overpriced sticker. It is the most expensive and second most applied. Its price is hovering around $5.50 with just over 300 applications. Pretty cheeks. Its U-Bobble says that there are 807 unapplied Lorena foils that exist out there, provable on bottom line projections, which is not very good. And last, and certainly not least, is the Clavis Foil. #1 in all of our application categories except for the 4X, and it is second place in our average applications per weapon at 1.19. Magic ratio is a little bit better at 26.7. There is a +1 difference here because this is the most applied foil, but the second cheapest. Its price is $2.64, and it has just about 400 applications. So each of these stickers kind of went up by 100 applications per sticker, so interesting to note. What is in Clavis's favor is that the U-Bobble says there's only about 720 provable, unapplied Clavis foils that exist based on bottom line projections. And taking a look at the entire collection's actual applications, we can see that it is a very depressing sight. Only 25,000 blues, only 4,700 purples, only 892 pinks, for a total of only about 31,000 total stickers applied in this entire Armory collection. If you guys have been watching any of these videos, you know that this is a very low number. I'm not really going to spend any time even talking about the ratios, but you can see that a lot of blues are being applied compared to the purples and pinks, so that's something to be said. To calculate the bottom line projections, I took the Clavis Foil, which had 395 applications, 720 total offers globally, which combined to be about 1,100, times that by 3 to be applied to the rest of the stickers in the foil category, which gave us about 3,300 foil stickers, times that by 5 to get our estimated purple bottom line, and times that by 5 to get our estimated blue bottom line. And we can see what that information shows us here. Based on bottom line projections, we should have about 83,000 provable blues, 16,000 provable purples, 3,300 provable pinks, for a total of only 103,000 provable stickers that exist. This is record-breaking low supply. And as you can see, the ratio of our actual to bottom line is hovering around 30%. And where I think all this sticker application information is actually useful is in this graph. So because, again, as I said earlier, the Sugarface 2 and 2025 collections were both released at the same time, we can one-to-one compare their rarities of stickers. We can't do individual sticker comparison because there's not the same amount of stickers per rarity, but we can compare rarities. Obviously, there are red covert stickers that do exist within the 2025, but we're not going to cover those because they're pretty negligible overall anyway in the grand scheme of things. So on your left, you can see the actual applications between the Sugarface 2 and the 2025. 2025 in yellow, Sugarface 2 in green. And as you can see, actual application on the left of the blues, there's about 27% of the total supply of blues in the Sugarface collection as there are for the 2025. After that, we have the purples, which shows that there's only about 13%. And after that, for the pinks, the foils is only 10%. And overall, our actual applications between the Sugarface and the 2025 community stickers is about 22%. So if you want to look on actual applications, the Sugarface 2 is about 5 times less applied than the 2025 community collection. Now, I would argue that the 2025 community collection is, at baseline, a pretty unpopular collection to begin with. There's a lot of stickers in there that are not very good. So considering that that collection is 5 times more applied than our Sugarface 2, goes to show how unpopular this collection really is. That's backed up even more so when we look at our bottom line estimates. From the previous video when I calculated the bottom line estimates, if we compare the bottom line estimates between the Sugarface and 2025, we can see that the bottom line estimates show that there is 10% the bottom line estimate of the Sugarface compared to the 2025. That means provably, based on our lowest conservative estimates, there are 10 stickers that exist in the 2025 collection for the Sugarface, for every single Sugarface collection. So what does that mean, guys? It means this is a pretty dog shit collection. I'm probably not going to give this collection much more mind, but what I really think is that this illustrates the point that I'm trying to get across, that this is such an unpopular collection that I think Valve has incentive to get rid of it and just put anything in there. Put any other collection in there besides Sugarface 2, and it will generate them more money. This is a very low supplied collection when you consider that it only takes one Armory star to get a single sticker. It's a very cheap entry price, right? And still there's just not that many. There's only 30,000 total applied stickers and likely more than, but provable, less than 100,000 total stickers in the bottom line supply for Sugarface. But yeah, these Sugarface stickers don't look very good on paper, and the only thing going for them is that there is a very small supply. If you want to have a small holding, there might come a time when they become discontinued and prices slowly rise, and they might be a decent investment. But as we know, demand and application demand, I believe, is the driving factor for almost all sticker investments / all CS2 investments. So as you can see, this is an abysmally low demanded collection of stickers. Now, I don't have any crystal ball, but I do think that this is a very underperforming collection, and so I do think that Valve will be more apt to remove it and just get it out of the rotation and get something more productive and profitable for them inside the Armory. That being said, I bought a couple Clavis Holos and foils just because they're so rare / unapplied, and I'm just holding on to them. I have no big holding in this collection. So, thank you guys for watching this far into this quick little analysis of the Sugarface 2 collection. I think it's pretty evident that this collection should not be a large portion of your portfolio, if any. But I do think that it's a tool that can be used to gauge where Valve's head is at going forward. If this collection breaks the mold and gets removed very early, I think my stance that Valve likes to remove unpopular things first stands. And if this collection persists into the Armory for years and years, then I think that idea kind of goes out the window. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please join my Discord and come join the conversations that we're having over all sorts of different items and concepts within CS2 and outside of that. I really appreciate your view and your time, and if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and drop a dislike if you did not, and let me know what I can do better. This information will be posted to my Discord, where you can see it forever, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Thank you so much for watching.